No. So, thank you for clicking onto the video. Hopefully you know, or at least have an idea as to what the subject of the video is by the title of the video, but, you know, just as a, getting the formalities out of the way, this will be, related to endometriosis memes on endometriosis, because isn't that a fun topic to have memes on? But you know what? Dark humour is the best kind of humour. But as a bit of a side note, was probably relatively important, one of the handful of illnesses my ass has is endometriosis. Had it for, well, I don't know how long I've had it for, but I was diagnosed back in October 2016. But let's just say it's I'm fully acquainted with it. Yeah. But that's where we get to laugh at it. Over my time on dwelling on the internet, I have come across a few endometriosis related memes, and this is some of my collection that I will be going through with you today. Now, of course, I'm going to state now, I am not a doctor. I am not any sort of medical, legal, whatever all professional of any sorts regarding this. This isn't a tool for diagnosis, this is a tool simply for a bit of light relief. If you have got any concerns, I will strongly advise you, as I do always with anybody, to go and speak to your healthcare practitioner and get the ball rolling there. Of course, you know, because they'll be able to help you out a lot more than just staring at a screen on the internet. And of course, if you've got any concerns or you're not particularly happy with something, you know, they'll be the best port of call to work out a plan to be able to manage things better. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? I hope at some point I can make some sense out of this when I edit it. But anywho, on to the actual point of this video. I've had this particular image up on the screen for quite some time now because I'm talking away. And the feels with it don't really go away. So tell me again how ibuprofen will help my cramps, and I will show you just how well it works. Yeah. Ibuprofen does have its uses, and for a lot of people it may help. Does. For a lot of people it helps. Not everybody should take it, and again, of course, consult your family practitioner, your general practitioner. Consult the doctor to confirm whether or not you can have it. But it certainly has its uses. However, certainly in my case, and in a lot of other people's cases, it's not something that is solely used. As a bit of an explanation as to why I heavily relate to this, about November last year, I was due to have my Mirena coil changed. The Mirena coil is an intrauterine device that's a form of long-lasting contraception and is also used to help treat the symptoms of endometriosis, or help manage the symptoms of endometriosis, particularly in relation to the cessation of periods. You know, if you've experienced heavy periods or particularly painful periods, it helps to stop them, or at least reduce the flow or the frequency, whatever. But for me, at any rate, it has helped to stop my periods. I've had it since at least December 2017, so it was due for a renewal, as it were, renewing the contract. Now, my last experience with getting it done, well, let's just say, I mean, I had no idea going into it. This is a bloody side thing. This is a side story. I'm sorry, I digress. But when I was initially going into it, I thought I'd be fine. Why on earth I believed some mild cramping will occur when I read it up, but I thought, no, I'll be fine, you know, I'll carry on, I'll be able to do some Christmas shopping, you know.
You're not very bright, are you?
To say it felt like I was birthing Satan's spawn itself would be an understatement. It was horrendous. But I'm going to stress this out now, that's not the same for everybody. Don't, be put off by my experience with it, because although the getting it in was fucking horrendous, it has, really served me well over time in that it stopped my periods, and as I really do struggle with my periods, particularly with the pain side of things, it's really helped me there. If I didn't have it, I'd struggle to work, I'd struggle to do a lot of basic things. So it has really helped me, and that's why I went back to get it replaced. But as I was getting it replaced, having that previous experience of birthing Satan's born or having it shoved inside my wall, thinking about my previous experience, when I contacted the GP, before I, obviously got the appointment arranged, but also mentioned, I have issues with pain management, just to let the GP know and, try and get something sorted. Something wasn't sorted. The advice was, take some ibuprofen. Now, I knew that this wouldn't help, or at least it wouldn't be enough. I did it anyway.
Because I'm an idiot.
They got the coil out. They couldn't put it back in. They couldn't replace it. So I was supposed to have been put in for, and I was put in for a referral to have it done under general anaesthetic. So I was put on a referral and everything's grand and hunky-dory, but I knew going in there that ibuprofen wouldn't work, and I was proven correct. I then went and attended the appointment I was given then following that, and I thought I was just going in for a consult. No. Second attempt with the coil. Second attempt. And as I went in on just my usual pain medication, did it work? Did it? Fuck. So arranged for a third time, because it was then I was told it was going to be a 1.5 years wait, and I'm thinking, holy crap, if I don't have this in, I won't be able to work. My life is going to be screwed. I could go private, but I cannot afford to go private. So the next time arrived, and I went in, and I took all the necessary pain relief and precautions I could, and numbing was still used, but it was still bloody horrendous. It was horrendous. But I stress, it isn't the case with everybody. Some people, the majority of people, apparently it's just mild cramping, but it's just be aware. And of course, if you've got any concerns prior to getting this sort of thing done, or prior to any treatment really, speak to the healthcare practitioner and really be vocal about your concerns. Don't just sort of, stand up for yourself, voice your concerns. And obviously, they're the doctor, they're the healthcare practitioner, they, are the experts in this, but at the same token, you also know your body, and you know what you need. And if you have got concerns regarding the pain, healthcare practitioner is your first port of call. But of course, listening to other people's stories is also kind of a good thing, but sometimes, like listening to mine, could scare some people. But yeah, first port of call is your general practitioner. Please don't be put off on my story alone. Weigh it up for you. For me, it's worth it. I've been able to, things have improved a hell of a lot more, because obviously in that time period of not having the Marina coil in, I was having my periods again, and it was horrendous, and it was flaring up a lot of other things like IBS. And if you know IBS, you know what that rush to the toilet feels like. Yeah.
In heaven, I can't believe it.
Anyway, yes, so long story short, I fully relate to this, and I dare say there's probably a few people out there that do. But this next one now, computer screen. So this is a my lighting is strong and independent. It grows wherever it wants. Isn't that cool? It wasn't cool. No, it wasn't. Yeah. So if you don't know, endometriosis is a condition in which tissue that is similar to the tissue that lines your uterus, the endometrial lining, tissue that is similar to that grows outside of the uterus, and by that I mean it could grow literally on top of the uterus, it could grow in the fallopian tubes, the ovaries, or anywhere in that. I mean, it can grow anywhere, but most commonly within that sort of abdominal cavity. So things like, you know, the pelvic wall, it may grow on the bladder or the intestines. It could travel further afield than, you know, the diaphragm, but yeah, so it's endometrial tissue, or similar to endometrial tissue, similar to the lining of the uterus. So yeah, it is similar to. So yeah, basically tissue that's similar to the lining of the uterus that grows outside it. It's a strong, independent type that decides what it wants to do at the detriment of the recipient's health and well-being. I'm pretty sure the next one. Yeah. So this is so cozy. Yeah, the cozy as fuck. Wait, you've got to try this. But it's so snug in here. Hang on. Why don't we all just stick together? Yeah. This doesn't happen with everybody that has endometriosis. But it can happen with some people, and I've had family members, you know, I've had a family member who's had this happen, and I've heard of other people who's had this happen, but the way it, from my understanding that it works, is that the tissue that grows outside and lands wherever it lands can lead to the formation of scar tissue and lesions, which can sort of stick together and stick with each other. So if you've got, say, like in this case, let's say lesions and scar tissue just outside the uterus, and you've got some then on the bladder, for example, or the large intestine, it could then just sort of stick together.
Adhesions are the normal healing process of our body. If you get cut anywhere on your body, you develop scar tissue. You develop that same scar tissue on the inside of your abdomen, but what can happen then is that scar tissue then can cause organs to stick to each other. So the ovaries can be stuck to the pelvic sidewall or stuck to the uterus. The bowel can be stuck to the back of the uterus. So with all of this can contribute to some of the pain that women experience, especially with infections or endometriosis.
And it's not pleasant at all, from what, again, from my family member going, seeing what she went through. It's not pleasant. It's not pleasant in the slightest. It's not, I say it's not the case for everybody who has endometriosis, but it's a not insignificant amount. Yeah. Normal people's uteruses. I see you have decided to not become pregnant. I will begin the process of shedding this lining. My uterus? Mom, help me, I'm bleeding into the abdominal cavity again. Man! God, all I can think of is Cartman.
But man...
Yeah, so it is as it says on the tin. The uterine lining builds up over time with the help of various sort of rises and falls of different sorts of hormones. But it does that in the, for the preparation of a fertilised egg, and the majority of the time there isn't a fertilised egg there, so then it goes away. The problem with endometriosis is that endometriosis that's landed, that bit of tissue that's landed, unlike when it sheds from the uterus and out when you have a period, it comes out. It just vacates the uterus, like a proper hotel guest. It just vacates. Endometriosis is like an annoying hotel guest that just decides it's going to remain there forever and ever because it's got nowhere to go. It goes nowhere. Well, it does go somewhere. It goes into the abdominal cavity, because it's got no exit hole. That's a brilliant scientific explanation. Endometriosis can't go out the door, so it has to stay put. I will try and find a video that probably explains it a bit more better. That was brilliant English. But I will try and edit something that resembles a decent explanation. But
these cells can react to the menstrual cycle each month and bleed.
It made me chuckle, but I want to hug the doggo. I want to hug that poor doggo. I don't want to hug my uterus. I want to tear it out sometimes, not sometimes, all of the time. Not that I advocate for, doing any sort of surgical procedures on yourself. And I understand that, a hysterectomy doesn't necessarily mean that you will not have endometriosis anymore, but still, I still have that feeling of wanting to, like, just tear the bloody...
A few moments later.
Come on, Catherine, we can say this out loud. The people who still don't know why they have endometriosis. Me remembering all that dirty demon sex that caused mine. So if you are completely unaware of what this is referring to and what the next one refers to, let me get the woman's name up real quick.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Endometriosis demon sperm. Yes, that's the lady I am looking for. So a doctor who is, I believe at the time was and still is, to my knowledge at least, registered in the good old state of Texas. A lady called Stella Emanuel. She was praised by Donald Trump around the COVID-19 pandemic for coming out in support of treating COVID-19 with hydroxychloroquine. I hope I pronounced that or remembered that or said that correctly.
Dr. Stella Emanuel was part of a video Monday that featured a group of doctors claiming without evidence that there's a cure for COVID-19. In the clip, Emanuel pushes hydroxychloroquine as part of a cure for the disease, a view largely discredited by health experts. The president retweeted the video, which was eventually taken down by Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube for violating misinformation policies.
But yeah, she was one of a couple of doctors that came out in regards to supporting this, and Donald Trump then praised her for it.
The woman that you said was a great doctor in that video that you retweeted last night said that masks don't work and there is a cure for COVID-19, both of which health experts say is not true. She's also made videos saying that doctors make medicine using DNA from aliens and that they're trying to create a vaccine to make you immune from becoming religious.
Well, maybe it's the same, maybe it's not, but I can tell you this. She was on air along with many other doctors. They were big fans of hydroxychloroquine, and I thought she was very impressive in the sense that from where she came, I don't know which country she comes from, but she said that she's had tremendous success with hundreds of different patients, and I thought her voice was an important voice, but I know nothing about her.
But what I'm interested in is the doctor in question also runs a ministry, a Christian-based ministry, in which she blames, or rather, in which that she blames the development of endometriosis alongside other gynecological issues on having sex with demons in your sleep, and I believe maybe the depositing of the demon sperm causes the endometriosis. Let's see. It was said in one of her sermons. Via Power Ministries?
Much later.
What are all these ones? Abso-fucking-lutely not. Maybe popular? There it is.
We call them all kinds of names. Endometriosis. We call them molar pregnancies. We call them fibroids. We call them cysts.
We found it. By we, I mean me. Now, in terms of what one believes in as a religion, that sort of belief, I'm not going to shoot down. It's you do you, boo-boo. I do not believe whatsoever in anything. but I'm never going to shoot anybody down for what they believe in, so long as they're not being an arsehole about it. Yeah. So in one of her sermons titled Deliverance from Spirit Husbands and Spirit Wives, Incubus and Succubus, Part 1. There's a Part 2 as well, but I'm only interested in the Part 1.
But most of them are evil deposits from the spirit. They are responsible for miscarriages, impotence, men that can't get it up, untold hardship. They are responsible for financial failure. Because when this spirit is in your life, if he assumes that he's married to you, you're married to them, at the end of the day, what you have is theirs, what they have is yours. So they take when things come to you. They become the thing that steals and kills and destroys in your life.
Alright, quick summary of what it is she's saying, because I don't know if I'm going to include her whole clip because it's giving me a headache. But from what I understand, these demons, the spirit husbands and wives, the succubus and incubus, where the hell they come from, angels from God, don't know if they're actual angels, whether they're fallen angels or whatever, but angels have it off with human ladies that produce hybrid offspring known as Nephilims that apparently also translate into giants. These roam around, blah blah blah. Eventually they're wiped out by the flood, but although their physical form is taken away, their spiritual form still exists. I don't think their spiritual form would make it into heaven, at least according to Bible, so they sort of hang around and they lust after humans, so that's where they attach onto humans.
They still look at women and men and think cute.
I don't get it either. But yeah, so that's where all that comes from. I'm sorry.
Evil spiritual pregnancies. We have seen a lot of them. They call them fibroids. They call them endometriosis. They even sometimes actually like a pregnancy. It's called a molar pregnancy. You are pregnant with this thing that looks like grapes. These things are evil deposits of the spirit.
Spiritual sperm. Spiritual sperm. So endometriosis and other gynecological conditions, including molar pregnancies and fibroids, are caused by the sperm of demons that have sex with you in their sleep or in their dreams. Yeah. So that's where that comes from. Anywho. Yeah. Next one. Oh yeah. When I'm trying to keep all my symptoms in check, it really does feel like you're dancing between a few velociraptors, just trying to keep them all at bay. Or like you're trying to dance around a cat when you're like dangling wires, or better yet, it's actually more like, see, we not only have cats, we also have, we have rats, specifically 4 of them. And at the moment, I'm having to give antibiotics to one of them. Another one kind of needs feeding separately, which is, you know, she's happy enough to do. Like, the one I have to feed separately, she's fine. She just hops immediately out the cage. She comes on the shoulder for a bit of a snuggle, and then just pop her, like, on the floor with her food, and she's golden. But that's not the issue. The issue is when I'm trying to give the antibiotic to a rat. And the only way I can do that on my own is by squirting it into some ferret paste, otherwise known as rat crack. And all the rats love it, including the other 2 perfectly healthy ones that are also quite big and bulky, that will wrestle their way. And because obviously the girl I'm giving to, she's a bit older and therefore a bit slower, you know, she kind of gets pushed to the side a bit. So as I'm trying to give her this and keep an eye on the other girl who is eating on the floor, I'm then having to, like yesterday, spread like baby food that's like pureed. I think the one I've got is like pureed carrot and sweet potato and stuff, but I'm like spread out on my arm with the baby food. They're licking away at that, and then I've got my other hand with the rat there with the bowl with the ferret paste and antibiotic in it, and trying to make sure she eats all the antibiotic and not just the ferret paste, and then keeping a third eye on the other girl to make sure she is also eating the food and not just conveniently forgetting like halfway through to clean herself, and then she gets distracted by something else. It's like that is like what trying to manage all your symptoms is like. I mean, for me as well, it's not just like managing the symptoms, but also in my head, because I've got other health conditions, I don't know whether it helps at all, but I do it anyway. Like, I try to like compartmentalize like what's causing what pain, and it is like I'm gonna manage this, but then this decides to flare up. I'm gonna manage my, like, say with, you know, having the Marina coil out, having that out meant I was having my period, which was also then flaring up my IBS. So having period pain and also having to manage the increased frequency and the no, we won't go into that description, but the increased frequency to my trips to the toilet, having to manage that, and then the stress from that, amongst other things, the stress from that flaring up, then the contributing to the flare up of fibromyalgia pain and all the jazz that brings up. It does feel like you need like 1,001 hands, like feeding rats. Again, yeah, similar thing. That's where the sort of compartmentalizing and sort of, it literally just feel like you're doing the maths in your brain of what goes where here, where. I hope I'm not I don't think I'm the only one. Surely if there's a meme out there and I have not created it, if there's multiple memes out there, there's going to be other people that feel like it, but I can't do Kronk's voice justice. But I will read it out anyway. You're still sick? I have a chronic illness. Chronically ill, I am. My illness is chronic. Experience my illness in a chronic fashion. Chronically, I will experience illness. Chronic illness. There's that, and actually if I click through it, it's probably, if I've ordered this correctly. Yes, when people still don't get what the chronic part of chronic illness means. I can't believe it's not better. Because of course it's not going to be bloody better, it's chronic.
No shit, Sherlock!
I've had that more than once. You're like, yeah, no, this is still a thing, this is still an issue, because I've still got this thing. Have I got any other ones that are similar to this? Yeah, you look so much healthier. I just remember this. Now, of course, this particular one, it's meant well, but in a way it also comes across as sort of invalidating. Obviously, if you feel like if you look well, then you must be well, and therefore you've got it in you must like psych yourself out and second guess yourself. It's like, am I really feeling like this? Is this really a thing? Like, I've had it particularly when, like, you know, if the painkillers are working really well and my, you know, that side of things is working really well, the parts of me like, am I actually going through this? I mean, there is still some degree of breakthrough pain there, but I'm like, is it? And the logical part of me is like, no, shut up, Catherine. You know damn well you got these problems, and you know damn well what's going to happen if, you know, it isn't managed or you have a flare up. And I'm like, is this real life? And yeah, then you're reminded very quickly afterwards when a flare up happens that, no, this is still a thing. And just because someone may look healthy, and again, this goes alongside the whole sort of invisible disabilities thing. Like, not every condition is automatically visible. In fact, the majority of them aren't, and not every disability is also visible.
It's something you've created, like you're mad. Years of feeling like you're cuckoo. Like, and it's not, it's real. It's real. You just can't see it, it's invisible.
Just because a person may look healthy, whatever the hell that is, just because they may look healthy to you doesn't mean that they are. So, Editor Snap here. Listening to this particular segment, it reminded me of something that had occurred a couple of years back, and just as a little disclaimer here, I'm going to be just mentioning briefly about weight and disordered eating, so if that's not for whatever reason something that you can listen to at the moment, I'll throw up a timestamp here that just, you know, skips along to the next bit. It's fine, no bother, you do you, you've got to protect yourself, look after yourself. But in this situation, I was commuting a lot back and forth to work, obviously doing full work day, and then doing anywhere between an hour and a half to 2 hours travelling to work, and then hour and a half coming back. And sorry, that's the cat brushing against the microphone. And as I was doing this, I was also, again, dealing with the fibro, dealing with the endometriosis, and dealing with all the same health shit. And long story short, I just wasn't eating, or whatever I was eating, it was minimal and was just absolute rubbish. I'd be surviving. I mean, I still love my energy drinks, but that would literally just be it, and then some insert sugary snack here or sweets here, and I lost quite a bit of weight. And at that time, you know, you could consider like that's where I'm struggling significantly. But the amount of times I heard in that period, "Oh, you're looking really well. Oh, you lost weight. Oh, you're looking good." And at the time, I thought, "Oh, really? Am I looking good? Okay." So now, but looking back at it, I'm like, no, that's again, people meant well, and they obviously don't always know what's going on in your life, but yeah, it's just something to think about. Like, I don't know, it's a weird one. I don't know if I'll include this little segment, but we'll wait and see. Anyway, back to the rest of the video. Now this is far more irritating to me, and again I have to remind myself that people like this probably do mean well. They probably mean well, but by God, it's fucking irritating. And again, I understand in some cases it's like, yeah, no, they do mean well, and they're just trying to be nice, but
My BS detector's going ding!
a fun fact, when I was about 19, 20, I was probably about 19 even, where I worked at the time, my manager also, basically she was aware of, you know, the potential for it being endometriosis. I was told by this woman, by this grown-ass woman, this manager said to a 19, 20-year-old, get pregnant, because it will, you know, that will help your pain, that will stop your pain, that will, and I'm like, so the solution to me stopping the pain I'm in is giving me 18 years plus worth of commitment that you don't know I'm capable of giving, mind. Yeah, so yeah, pregnancy was a thing that was suggested to me. If she ever sees it, I'm stunned. I'm still stunned that you made that suggestion. I can say that because I no longer, I feel confident saying that. I mean, I'm not dropping names or anything like that, but I feel like I don't work there anymore, so it can't be fired from there. It's not, just in case my current managers see it, it's not my current managers who said that, it's a former manager. We'll actually include this, what I've just said now. But yeah, as a final one, because like I said, this has gone on for far too long and editing me is not going to be happy with me. A medicine for happiness. Darling, you still there? Yeah. Have a look at this one with me. Yeah. Crazy Cat Lover has got to include this. Would you like that pill box?
Yes, please.
If you are a person that I fully approve of, you will love them. And, of course, taking pills, it's something, you know, if you need to do it, you do it, and blah, 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 blah. But I would much rather have, like, if I have, like, a pill box just, like, with a kitten each day. Yeah. All of our fur babies, like, they're our medicine for happiness. It's certainly my medicine, that and my partner, but definitely fur babies, you know. This is just a nice, happy one to end on. And yeah, if you've, you know, not grown sick of my ramblings, I would appreciate it if you liked it to give us a like. But certainly any feedback would be greatly appreciated. And yeah, if you would like to stick around for more, hitting that subscription button would be also really appreciated. I have got an Instagram. I haven't quite worked out how to like properly link it, but I will like flag up somewhere here what my handle is. It's still the same, much like these shorts I've produced. It's mostly cat videos and cat photos. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you for spending some time with little old me, and I hope to see you soon. Have a great day or evening or whatever. I hope you're having a great time, and if you're not, I hope you can find a medicine for your own happiness. Take care, guys. Peace. Bye.